the first page is all multiplication. So if it's just two numbers, you're just going to multiply the two numbers. Just apply your rules of multiplication here as you do it. I picked out 1, 5, and 11 from the first page. So those are the three I'm going to do for you. Number 1 is just 3 times 5, which is 15. But then you have to look, I have a positive and a negative. So when I do the 3 times 5, my 15 doesn't change, but it is going to be negative because one of those was negative. I have one negative, so my answer should be negative there. All right? When I am multiplying fractions, same thing applies for positives and negatives. Here it's a negative times a negative, so what's my answer going to be? Positive. From that, you just multiply like you would multiply fractions regularly. I'm going to look to see if I can cross cancel, which I can, right? My 2 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2, those can cancel. And then I'm just going to multiply straight across. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 7 is 7. I've already determined that it is going to be positive, right? So 18 over 7 is your answer. Or you can put it as a mixed number. Either one's fine. All right? For 11, the easiest thing to do here is to decide if I am going to have a positive or negative first. And then once I decide if I'm going to have a positive or negative, I just have to worry about multiplying, okay? So I'm going to look. I have a negative, a positive, and a positive. Is my answer going to be positive or negative here? Positive, because I have two negatives, right? I count my negatives. Even is going to make my answer positive. Odd will make my answer negative. And so once I've determined that, I'm just going to multiply. And I have 2 times 3 times 3 times 4. A couple ways you can do this. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. So my answer here is 72. And it's positive because we already decided that up front. All right, so multiplication. You multiply like you do any other time. You just have to decide if your answer is going to be positive or negative. All right, questions on multiplication. Division. For division, I chose these three, 15, 19, and 21. 15, 19, and 21. 15 is pretty straightforward. While it looks like a fraction, remember fraction just means division. So it's basically just 45 divided by 9. They're both positive, so my answer is going to be positive. So 45 divided by 9 is 5, and that is my answer. All right? When I divide fractions, I'm going to do my keep, change, flip. But remember, I only want to do that if I have already changed any mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So you definitely want to do that first. So we're going to leave this alone right now as far as the division goes, and we're going to change this. 8 times 3 is what? 24 plus 7 is what? 31. So I have 31 over 8 here, all right? And now I can keep, change, flip. 1 over 10, keep it. Change this to multiplication, and then 8 over 31, which is negative. Now, I do want to decide if my answer is going to be positive or negative. Is my answer positive or negative here? Negative. It's negative because I have one positive and one negative. And then I can cross cancel. What goes into 8 and to 10? 2. So I can say 4 and 5. And now that I've done that, I can just multiply straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times 31 is what? Yeah, if it'll let me write, that'd be great. 155. And you can't reduce that. You've already reduced it with your cross canceling, so negative 4 over 155 is your answer. All right? Number 21 is actually the same type of problem. It is just dividing fractions. All right? When it is on top of each other like a complex fraction, you keep the top one. So we're going to keep the top one as the way it is. We are going to change this to multiplication, and then we are going to flip the bottom one. So I'm going to change this to 5 over 4. It is a positive and a negative, so is my answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. I cannot cross cancel here, so I'm just going to multiply across. 1 times 5, and then 3 times 4. Yep, and my answer is negative 5/12. All right. Last page is just my rules of exponents, all right? My rules of exponents. I chose this first one because I don't see an exponent on my first number. So if you do not see an exponent on the number, what is your exponent? 1. So don't miss that 1 when you are doing these. All right? So this is multiplication of like bases. My first rule that I learned. What am I going to do with my exponents? Add them. So this is 3 to the 1 plus 4 plus 2. All right, so this is going to be 3 to the 7th. For this quiz, that is how I want you to leave your answers, in exponential form. I don't want you to multiply them out. All right? 29 is an example of my second rule. All right, my second rule. I have a power to a power. What is the rule for that? What do I do with those exponents? Yes, I multiply them. So this is 3 to the 4 times 4. So this is going to be 3 to what power? 3 to the 16. And that is my answer, 3 to the 16. The next one is my division rule. My division rule. What's my rule for division? What do I do with those exponents? I subtract. So this is 4 to the 4 minus 2. So this is going to be 4 to what power? Second power. And then my last one is actually an application of 2 of my rules. The first application is I am multiplying like bases, right? So I need to add those exponents. 3 to the negative 3 plus 2. What is negative 3 plus 2? 3 to the negative 1. However, if you recognized in your directions, it says all positive exponents, okay? And so what did we learn about something to a negative exponent? What do I actually do with that? Yes, I put 1 over that number to the positive exponent. So it's 1 over 3 to the first power. If it is to the first power, you do not need to actually write the exponent. So this would actually just be 1 over 3.